brains,
noses,
knees and toes.
All on Geek this week. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Geek This Week. I'm your host X.
And I'm Brogan.
And we're just going to go right into it.
This week in gaming, we got a few trailers detailing some information on upcoming updates for some well-known games. First off, Firaxis gave us a first look at the newest expansion for the highly popular Civilization VI. The expansion, titled Rising Storm, received a pretty cool trailer that gave us more of a cinematic experience than a look at gameplay, but we still got a pretty good idea of what to expect. From natural disasters to inhabitable natural wonders and all the way to crazy sci-fi looking futuristic cities, there's a good chance that this will be the largest expansion any game in the series has seen to date. We're excited to see what it actually holds.
We also got a first look trailer for the Battle of Geonosis coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's right, not only is the game still around, but they are actually still releasing content for it. As the title for the DLC states, it will see players fighting their way across the plains of Geonosis just as they did in Attack of the Clones. It will obviously feature all the weapons, vehicles, and characters that were present in the movie version of the battle. Now, this is a welcome addition to the game, but it may just be a little too late.
Lastly in gaming, No Man's Sky received yet another update, putting it at version 1.75. The update, which was not expected to come out so soon after the most recent update, The Abyss, is simply titled Visions. The update seeks to add a ton more variety to the terrain, flora, and fauna you will encounter on alien planets. You are now much more likely to meet an unsavory end, as you will encounter things like creatures bursting out of the ground to devour you, or massive plants that will swell and explode, covering you in acid. Of course, with increased threat comes an increased chance at some extremely valuable loot. Hello Games definitely wasn't kidding when they said to expect a bunch more content, and we couldn't be happier.
This week in movies and television, we got a brand new trailer for the Lego Movie 2, and man is it edgy. At least for the first little bit. The trailer seems to show Finn's sister, represented by the spacefaring General Mayhem, now with more impressive building skills, invading and taking our main characters, save for Emmett, to another planet. Emmett, voiced by Chris Pratt, builds a spaceship to go save them. Along the way, he meets what appears to be a physical amalgamation of all of Chris Pratt's past movie characters, a galaxy-defending cowboy raptor trainer, who is also conveniently voiced by Chris Pratt. This movie appears just as self-aware as the first one, and we can't wait to see more.
We also received a teaser trailer for the upcoming live-action remake of Lion King, if you can call it a live-action. The trailer features a CGI Simba, Rafiki, and Mufasa, complete with a realistic-looking African backdrop. Though the movie does look stunning, several have complained that Disney is pumping out its live-action remakes, or at least the announcements of such, a bit too quickly. We're just wondering if maybe Disney's finally running out of original ideas.
Amazon recently aired an episode of Doctor Who several days early simply because of a glitch. The popular streaming service Amazon Prime is currently the premier location for watching Doctor Who, as it premieres live on BBC. But those attempting to watch episode 7 of the series last week were instead treated to the episode that aired yesterday. To make matters more confusing, the episode came complete with the wrong subtitles, instead showing the subtitles for episode 7. Amazon is definitely aware of the error, and they are working to fix it.
This week in technology, researchers at Duke University have been working on none other than a robotic nose that they believe will one day replace drug-sniffing dogs. The mechanical noses were created based off scent receptors found in the noses of mice. The technology itself has actually been around since the 1990s, but it wasn't until now that engineers were actually able to use this technology to create a functional device. As it stands, they have already been able to use similar prototypes to help detect things like rotten food or colon diseases, and they are hoping to start utilizing it in the drug detection process sometime in the near future. While the devices can be controlled entirely by humans, which makes them a bit more reliable than a canine companion, they are still not quite as perceptive as an actual dog's nose, so it is a bit of a trade-off. Anyway, if you happen to see cops wandering around with giant robotic noses in the future, you better hope you left your drugs at home.
Engineers at MIT have created a new plane. The catch? There's no moving parts. The plane itself looks like a shelf for hanging clothes with wings, but there is actually some very interesting science behind it. According to an MIT news release, the propulsion phenomenon, dubbed ionic wind, is a silent but mighty flow of ions capable of producing sustained, steady flight. For the non-sciencey of you, it means they charge up a surface with electricity, and it then flings charged atoms away from itself, providing propulsion. While the concept is quite incredible, it is still only functional on a fairly small scale, meaning it is probably still going to be quite a long time before we get to see this technology used on jets or commercial airliners. For the time being, though, there is word they want to utilize this tech in the production of drones. Only time will tell if these self-flying, clothes rack-shaped batteries will be the future.
This week in anime, Funimation, the streaming service that recently broke away from Verve, has announced that they will be streaming a rebooted Fruits Basket. The anime, releasing in 2019, will have an entirely new cast, staff, and art style from the original, and much like the original, follows Toru Honda and her interactions with the mighty morphing Soma clan. The original anime went from lighthearted to dark and intense, and we're hoping that this reboot does the same. We're just hoping that it does the original series justice.
This week in science, scientists believe they've discovered a brand new part of the human brain. A researcher by the name George Pazzinos has successfully identified a cluster of cells near the brainstem completely unique to humans. The new region, now called the endorestiform nucleus, is speculated to be in charge of our fine motor controls, including our ability to write. Huh? You learn something new every day.
After launching multiple rockets and a car into space, SpaceX has announced that they will finally be launching a spacecraft designed for humans into space. The launch is currently scheduled for January 7th, 2019, and actually marks a pretty important event, as this will be the first time a craft of its kind has been launched by NASA since the Space Shuttle program retired back in 2011. If all goes well, NASA will likely be using the design for future space missions, and secondary testing should begin sometime later next year. Who knows? A year from now, we could finally be colonizing Mars. Am I right?
That's insane, though. It's been a long time coming for Elon Musk.
It is a weird thought. You see that stuff in movies, but
now it's gonna happen. Let's just hope we don't strand someone on Mars, and then have them have to grow potatoes from their own feces. Yeah, let's not do that.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video if you're feeling it. Also, comment and let us know if we missed anything.
Or if we got anything wrong, you know? Because that always happens.
That is true. And with that, we will catch you, geeks, next week. It's probably going to take me a couple times here. This week in anime... Yep. All right. Strike one. This week in wow, I couldn't even get through the freaking intro.